Alrighty, hello. Back with a little more ESO. Let's get this logged in. Let's see what we've got. Stupid hair out my face. I really need a haircut. Right, we have got the defense of Fort Redmane to defend the 3 ambitions. Could be we get tied up in a big battle, and while we're busy, the cultists portal in and grab the ambitions, maybe? While we're just distracted. Then we have to go back to wherever and rescue them, the Deadlands. Grab our daily reward. Have we got any critical primary stats? Earn some XP, extra XP while we're at it. Right, let's talk to Evs.
You play the armor you're dealt, right? Or march with the armor you have? I'm terrible at metaphors. A solid fort at our backs, brave soldiers at our side. Now we just need to wait for Vandacia and his cultists to show up.
Are you ready for this?
If we're being totally honest, I'm as nervous as the last leaf on the tree on the final day of fall. I'm a walk in the woods, loose an arrow at your back, fade into the trees kind of adventurer. An all-out war? That's not my style.
Yeah. All I can promise is I'll fight at your side.
Right. No guarantees in war. Still, it makes me feel better to know I'll have you fighting with me. And the Legionnaires and Brigandines, of course. Anyway, let's get to it. Talk to Governor Keshu and see where she thinks will do the most good.
Where is she over there? Hello, Governor.
Like a storm drawing near, Vandacia's forces come. Time to take our places. I will command the outer defenses. Captain Rian and his Brigadines will protect the gate. We will do our best to keep the cultists from getting past us and into the fort.
Where do you want me?
I want you inside the fort near the guardhouse. That's where we'll place the ambitions for safekeeping. It will be up to you to deal with any cultists that get past us, until we can send soldiers to assist you. And remember, they have portal magic.
Yep. Do you think we need to defend the gates? Shouldn't we just prepare for them to portal in? Yeah, we do need to defend the gates.
I expect a 2-pronged assault. The bulk of Vandacia's forces will attack the gate, while a smaller group uses portals to get inside. Portal magic is difficult. They could never move an entire army that way. Hence, we must defend from all directions.
Good plan.
Brigadines, take your positions! The enemy could arrive at any time! Evely, take the ambitions to the guardhouse!
Blackfin Legion, to me!
Fort Redmane. To Captain Rian.
Any sign of Vandacia's forces, Captain Rian?
I just received word. The Waking Flame has arrived, and they have portal mages with them. Evely, take the ambitions to the guardhouse.
I'll protect them. You stay here and defend the courtyard.
Support the mercenary! Portals, cut down the cultists! the enemy to our target. My archers are ready. Give us a target. Arrows away! Give the order and we'll release a volley.
Gonna help until he gets into that.
We're about to lose. Lead the enemy to our target. Give the order and we'll release. Arrows away!
Heard you might need a little help in here.
Hold the courtyard, Lieutenant. Mercenary, go check on the ambitions.
Let's do the opera. Let's talk to him.
Portals, just as we feared. At least they can't transport overwhelming forces in that manner. Go check on the guardhouse. Make sure Evely and the ambitions are secure.
Sure you don't need me here?
Positive. With the added brigadines the lieutenant brought us, we'll be able to hold the courtyard. It's the ambitions that concern me now. Get to the guardhouse and stay with them. Enemies could emerge from portals at any moment. My scouts tell me we closed the gate just in time. It appears the Waking Flame used magic to conceal their approach. The Blackfin Legion is holding them back. I need to make sure we hold the battlements. Deal with any other portals that open, and see what support we can provide to Keshu and her legionnaires. Now go, mercenary.
All right.
Oh, good, you're here. A little help, please. There are more of these abominations on the balcony.
Regular cultists, we can get them.
Eat arrows, you rotters. My arrows never miss their mark.
Guess we're going up, are we? guys aren't too tough, just a little bit tanky.
Acorns! I lost track of Sombrin and the twins. They ran west.
Alright. Luckily we were next to the door. It's always time to loot. So,
Still no sign of the ambitions? Tangled roots, what a mess.
hopefully, either somewhere safe or they're cornered and we'll rush in in the nick of time to rescue them.
Well, I ran into a lot of Daedra, but no ambitions.
Likewise.
Sombrin must be trying to stay one step ahead of Vandasia's forces. Let's split up. You check the inner bailey, and I'll backtrack to make sure we didn't miss anyone in here.
Where did those Daedra you were fighting when I showed up come from?
Portals open all around us, and Daedra poured in without warning. Sombrin grabbed Kalia and Destron and blasted their way out of the fight. When you arrived, my cousins and I were doing our best to cover their retreat.
Where were they going?
I'm not sure, but they ran west. The inner bailey's in that direction. I wouldn't be surprised if Sombrin plans to keep moving. Vandacia will have a hard time finding the ambitions if they don't stand still. And so will we. That's awkward.
He's just always so cheery.
Over here, mercenary!
Vandasia's forces. They're everywhere.
Sombrin, I sense more of them. They're coming. All of you, under the shield! Time to
for this
move!
wave.
Stay close! There's more coming! All of you, under the shield! Circle around! From the sides!
There's a lot of big boy.
Keep going! Move!
Have your gold.
Something. We're only delaying the inevitable.
Monster! Because of you, our parents are dead!
They were the chosen of Mehrunes Dagon. Rewarded beyond their station.
I'm going to kill you, Vandacia!
Who shall I sacrifice first? Perhaps the sister.
You leave Kalia alone, you bastard!
Destron!
Let me help you fulfill your purpose.
Destron! No!
Lord Dagon, I return to you the power of this ambition. Let the realms merge so you may walk among us.
Sky! Mehrunes Dagon! How is he here?
This is my opposition. How easily I shall crush them.
Quickly!
The worlds are merging, Sombrin. There is no escape. When you tire of running, I will be...
Oh, fantastic.
I hate you! Just leave us alone!
Kalia, you can't unleash your power like that! You could lose control!
What does it matter? You saw what he did to Destron. He's going to do the same to us.
Broken branches? What happened here?
Vandacia sacrificed Destron, allowing Mehrunes Dagon to drag us into his realm. Evely, I need the book you're carrying.
You know about that?
It's part of Dagon. Just like Kalia and me. I sensed it the moment I met you. I think I can use it to weaken Vandacia. Give us a fighting chance.
All right. What are you going to do with it?
Take the fight to Vandacia in the courtyard. He won't expect that. Meanwhile, I need time to prepare.
Go fight the super powerful Daedric priest? How?
Just keep him busy. Then, with the help of this book, I'll take care of the rest.
All right. Sombra needs us to buy him some time. Let's get to the courtyard.
Check. Yeah, thoughts on my slot. Extra health had worn off. Thought my health bar was looking a little low, a little thin. It's better.
I can't believe we lost Destron. I should have been there. Maybe together we could have saved him.
Vandacia lured out Destron by threatening Kalia. We couldn't hold him back.
Yes, I'd probably do the same if someone threatened my brother. Have you seen the sky outside? One ambition gave Vandacia enough energy to merge the entire fort with the Deadlands. What could he do with another ambition or two?
Oh, Sombrin thinks he can use your book to help us defeat Vandacia.
Right. Should it concern us that he can read the book and it was all gibberish to me? Maybe the whole reason I found it and carried it all this time was so I could give it to Sombrin now. Maybe he's meant to use it to stop Dagon. I hope that's true.
Me too.
I can't believe it. He killed my brother. He killed Destron. Listen, sacrifice me. Let Sombrin take my energy. Then you can kill Vandacia and save the fort.
If you die, your energy returns to Dagon. That's not really going to help.
But my brother and my parents. Vandacia has to pay for that. You were supposed to protect us. You were supposed to save Destron.
He surprised us and was too powerful. So I will need to give Sombrin time to use the book.
Then let me help. Sombrin has been holding me back. I don't care if I lose control, so long as I take Vandacia with me. Find him. Keep him busy. I'll make sure he pays for Destron.
I'll find Vandacia, give you and Sombrin the time you need.
I can't let Destron's death be for nothing. With this book, I think I can help us defeat Vandacia and once again separate the realms.
You said you knew Everly had the book? How?
I can't explain how being an ambition works. I don't really know myself. But I can sense things that are like me, that have the same taint of Dagon upon them. This book practically reeks of it. I think this is the Mysterium Xerxes.
The Dremora who helped us. That's what she called it.
Zaina's contracts mentioned it. The rites it describes allowed Vandacia to imbue us with a portion of Dagon's energy. I think he took a little for himself along the way, which is why he's so powerful. I want to try to take that energy away from him.
And that'll help us defeat him, return Fort Redmane to Blackwood?
I'm not sure we left Blackwood. The two realms are merging around this fort. We could be on Nirn, or in the Deadlands. Or maybe someplace in between.
Cheery?
If I can weaken Vandacia and you can destroy him, that might break the connection and set us free.
Then do what you can. We'll be ready. Oh, this way. Alrighty. So we came the wrong way anyway. Don't. Should have looked at the map already.
A fortress. Its very stone crumbles in my presence.
Brotherhood sends its regards. Keep going. There's still cultist blood to spill here.
It's good to have the Dark Brotherhood as allies. Gold, lovely. Don't want those. I will, just give me a mo. I've got loads of lockpicks. Damn it. Right. What's going to take us there?
Pathetic. Are those arrows or flea bites?
What do you think of these acorns? Trying to dodge these, walkers. This might sting a bit.
I don't want that. I guess we can't go that way. So I'm very low on everything. Champion point, take it.
Run, little maggots. Flee from the god of destruction.
You guys are just a bit tanky, they're not. Remember when these guys were tough? Or dangerous, really.
Eat arrows, you rotters.
Above, above.
What do you think of these acorns?
Alright. Must just check every bookcase everywhere in the entire world.
Tremble before me as your realm becomes mine.
door. I'll cover you from the battlements.
Alrighty, and I'll go fight the overpowered chief cultist.
The Lord of fire and blood flows through me. You cannot stop what is happening.
Get ready, Kalia! Just like I showed you!
You're going to pay, Vandacia. Mercenary, help us drain his power. This is for my brother!
Dear, merging the realms is delicate. One mistake and both would be destroyed.
I'm with you, my friend. We'll defeat Vandacia together.
Target!
My archers are ready. Give us a target. We're about to lose. Lead the enemy to our target. Give the order and we'll release a volley. Arrows away! Give us a target!
We can drain Vandacia's power! Just give the order!
You wanted our power? Here!
You can't avoid your fate's ambitions!
Get him slowly but surely. Yeah, we're gonna have another round of these.
The greater Dagon's influence will be.
My brigandines are here to help. Give the order and we'll release a volley. We're about to lose. Lead the enemy to our target. We're ready. Give us a target. Arrows away!
Out of the fire. Is that all the outs?
Archers are ready. Give us a target.
No.
Talia will attack Vondacia when you give the word.
We're not going to die for Mehrunes Dagon!
I grow tired of this game. You stand against Mehrunes Dagon's power!
This fire around, I'm kind of glad I'm a dark elf. Probably going to have one more round of ads.
Dagon, I need more power!
Vondacia's weakening!
Give the order and we'll release a volley. We're about to lose. Lead the enemy to our target. My archers are ready. Give us a target. Arrows away! Give the order and we'll release a volley. We're about to lose. Lead the enemy to our target.
Come on, walk this way.
We're ready! Tell Kalia when to strike!
Do it now, please.
This is for my brother!
Enough of this! The Master wants He will have it.
Ow.
Almost complete.
Die, you bastard!
We got him.
You defeated my high priest, mortals. That was unexpected. And before he completed emerging, that is unfortunate. Though this realm slips from my grasp, your fate is inevitable. You will join me or die, omniscient. It is why you were created.
We did it! We stopped Vondacia from merging the realms and opening the way for Mehrunes Dagon.
But my brother... Destron is still dead.
I failed Destron. But I won't fail you.
All right. Without Vandacia or his master, the cult doesn't stand a chance.
At least the sky looks normal again. Now I can add facing down a David Prince to my already impressive list of accomplishments. Food connoisseur, master assassin, consummate Vosa Saddle player, and now this. I suppose I should thank you for getting me mixed up in this.
You're very welcome. Dagon won't stop trying to capture the ambitions. Will you continue to help us?
Nope. Vandacia made this personal, but I try not to make a habit of killing people for free. It's bad for business. You do what you have to. Me, I'm going to find a nice mammoth steak with a side of vegetables smothered in scuttle cheese sauce.
Food's more important than the threat of Mehrunes Dagon?
Hey, I never claimed to be a hero. And despite our success today, I don't want to face Daedric threats on a regular basis. Then again, who knows what tomorrow will bring? Seeing you in action, I'm sure you'll turn up on a contract eventually.
If you say so.
I can't believe it! We defeated Vandacia, saved Sombren and Kalia, and sent Dagon running with his tail between his legs. Does he have a tail? Anyway, we won! Destron would be proud of his sister. She fought bravely through the entire battle.
I'm not sure we could have beaten Vandacia without Sombra and Kalia's help.
Yeah, I guess Varl Lupus was right. We did need that strange book. In fact, I think I was meant to give it to Sombren. I couldn't read a word of it, but he cast spells from it like it belonged to him.
Yeah, Sombren proved himself. Maybe he can do some good with that book. Help find the fourth ambition.
Sombren did good, that's for certain. And honestly, I'm glad to be rid of that book. Sombren seems to know how to handle it safely. I think it would be dangerous in the wrong hands. And I, for one, don't want any more bad dreams or waking visions.
Alright, let Sombren hang on to the book for now. Job done. But is that it? Sombren, talk to Kalia.
I'm sorry about Destron. Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
I've been alone my entire life. First in my vault, then in my wanderings. I finally found a real family, and I let one of them get taken from me. I promise you, I won't allow that to happen again.
Sorry about Destron, but we stopped Vandacia and saved Tamriel.
For now. But I don't think it's over. There's another ambition to find. And I can't imagine Mehrunes Dagon and his followers leaving us alone after all the time and planning that went into creating us. I think we'll head back to the temple for now.
Mehrunes Dagon said you would join him or die. We need to make sure neither of those things happen.
Daedra spin great lies from small truth when it suits them. I know that now. It was Zaina's last lesson to me. We won't join him and I won't let him kill us. We just need to come up with a way to keep any of that from happening.
What will you do with the Mysterium Xarxes?
I'm not sure. It belongs to Evely, not me. I'd like to study it, see if there's some way to free the ambitions and change our destiny. But I know it's also dangerous. Let me think about it a little more. Then I'll talk with Evely.
Any idea on how we find the remaining ambition?
Yes. I wonder who he is, or she. Are they still trapped inside a vault? Or did they find a way to escape, like I did? I hate to think of them alone and unprotected. But maybe it's better if they remain hidden.
Won't they be in danger of destroying themselves, though?
Right. I almost forgot about that. I need to figure out how to keep Kalia from being consumed by her ever-increasing power. And them, too, once we find them. I suppose I have a lot to consider, and not a lot of time to do it.
Let me just get the hell out of this freaking channel. And then we can talk to Kalia in peace.
I'm still alive. I can't believe I survived all that, but Destron didn't. It's not fair. None of this is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
You learn to control your power, and you carry on.
Easy to say, hard to do. Still, so many people fought to protect me today. Even though my heart is broken, for their sakes, I'll find a way. Destron would want me to.
Sombron will figure out a way. We'll figure out how to teach you to control your power.
I hope so. Not just for my sake, but for the other ambition, whoever they are. Without Destron, they and Sombron are the only family I have left. I'll try to be there for them. I really will. For now, we're heading back to the temple if you need us.
Dr. Keshu.
The people of Blackwood owe you their gratitude, mercenary. You and Evely both. If not for your courage, Von Dacia and his waking flame cult would have unleashed unthinkable destruction. The losses would have been devastating.
Speaking of losses, how did the Blackfin Legion and the Ivory Brigade fare in battle?
It could have been worse. We did well against the cultists. They were not trained soldiers, and when Mehrunes Dagon appeared, we faded into the mud and grass. Dagon did more damage to his own minions than he inflicted on our forces.
Your combined forces helped save Sombron and Kalia.
When a fire rages, my neighbor's hut is my own. That is Argonian wisdom. We defend ourselves by defending our friends. Those who died today died well. We do not mourn them. We will celebrate their sacrifice and cherish our victory back in Gideon.
Governor Keshu made the right call bringing the ambitions here. Can you imagine what would have happened to Gideon if Mehrunes Dagon appeared over the egg and hammer? We didn't just save Sombron and Kalia. We saved Gideon. Maybe all of Blackwood.
So the ambitions were an elaborate scheme to merge Dagon's power with Nirn, so he could conquer it.
That seems to be the long and short of it. I'm sorry we couldn't stop Van Dacia from murdering Destron, but at least we took care of that rotten tree stump in the end. Despite all that, I feel pretty good. It's not every day I get to save Tamriel.
Do you think we've seen the last of the Order of the Waking Flame?
That would be too much to hope for. I'm sure some of them slipped away. It will take a while for them to find a leader as powerful as Van Dacia, but I expect them to show up again at some point.
Well, you did it, Evely. You discovered the truth behind Leovic's secret.
Not by myself, I didn't. You helped. What started as an historic mystery turned into a tale of murder, living Daedric weapons, and the end of the world. How do we follow that? Oh, I know. With flagons of rot meth and lots of roast paws on a stick.
Sounds good.
What now? Can't we just rest for a while and bask in the glory? I know there's another ambition out there, and we need to keep Sombron and Kalia safe, but still. Oh, Keshu asked me to give this to you. A reward for defending Blackwood. I have a feeling you hate this sort of thing, but we need to head back to Gideon. Governor Keshu insists on throwing us a victory celebration. I wonder if there will be cake. I could really, really go for a big, gooey piece of cake.
What kind of celebration?
Oh, the best kind. I hear Governor Keshu really knows how to throw a party. Food and drink, music and dancing. And she wants everyone to be there.
Everyone?
Sure. The gardens behind the governor's mansion are big enough to entertain an entire army. Hey, before you join us, can you check on Sombren and Kalia? Invite them to the party? They went back to the Temple of Dibella in Gideon.
Sure, I'll go get Sombren and Kalia. See you at the celebration.
I'll meet you in Gideon after you collect Sombren and Kalia from the temple. I think we've earned a little relaxation and a slice or two of cake after everything we've accomplished here.
Do you still want to be an adventurer after all this?
Absolutely. I think I'm really cut out for it. You get to travel, meet interesting people, see ancient places, and you get to solve all sorts of riddles and mysteries. And sometimes people throw you a celebration party too. A party with cake!
Cake is all you want for a reward?
I'm from Grotwood. Have you met my people? It's all roasted this and roasted that, and even raw this and raw that too. You don't get to enjoy many pastries under Green Pact rules, you know.
I love all else. You don't mind dangerous parts of adventuring?
Knowing that you helped people and seeing how much they appreciate it more than makes up for the dark times. You walk into town and people say, "Hey, it's Everly!" Soon the little kids around here will all have pigtails in their hair. Count on it.
Alright, go to the Temple of Dibella. I think there is a way shrine up here. Not sure Kalias really want to go to a party. Oh, we'll see. And just go around those guys. And we are going to Gideon. Oh, is Fandacia not really the mastermind? We've still got to take down the big bad, other than Dagon.
Well,
Hello? If you're looking for our guests, they're long gone. I know you. You brought those guests to our temple. Kalia and Sombren and poor Destron. Everyone in town is talking about your deeds in Blackwood. You helped stop that traitorous Vendacia and his cult. Thank you for that.
You said Sombren and Kalia aren't here?
I did say that, didn't I? I suppose that even the charms of the Lady of Love can be too much for some folk. Not everyone can stand to bask in Dibella's glory for too long at a time. But they were good people. I liked them all.
Do you know where Sombren and Kalia went when they left?
I heard them talking about a ruin north of Gideon. I know that particular place well. Let me mark its location on your map. When you can spare a moment, come back and enjoy one of our ceremonies. All should open their hearts to the secrets of love.
Yeah.
I just came by to... Hey, where are Kalia and Sombren? I came by to find out what was keeping you in the ambitions. Where are they? What happened happened to Callia and Sombrin?
The priest said Callia and Sombrin headed to a ruin outside of Gideon.
A ruin? I wonder why they went there. Haven't those two had enough adventures after all they've been through? We should go find the ambitions or they'll miss the party. Did the priest say which ruin in particular?
She marked it on my map. Said it was north of the city.
Lead on then. The party's going to start soon and we don't want to be late. I, for one, want to get a nice piece of cake. Or maybe a slice of pie? Oh, broken branches, I'll just have both.
What?
Yeah, where are we going? That's really not far. Why haven't you got a horse? I didn't need that.
How much longer, Sombrin? This place makes me feel uneasy.
Not long now. I'm almost... Oh, it seems we have company.
I told Sombrin we should have talked to you before coming out here. But he was so insistent.
What's Sombrin doing? Why did he bring you out here?
He wanted to try something with the book. Away from other people, just in case. Sombrin thinks my only chance is if we return to the Deadlands. The nature of the realm naturally draws off my power, making it easier to control.
Dagon's sure to find you there.
Sombrin doesn't think so. He says that's the last place they'd look for us. I'm still attuned to the realm from the trial in the Ashen Forest. Sombrin believes he'll have enough time to teach me if I'm not in danger of imminently exploding.
Has it gotten worse again?
Worse? I suppose that depends on your perspective. It has been growing in intensity again, back at the same level as when we first left the vault. Sombrin is worried I don't have much time. That's why he's being so insistent.
I'm actually glad you found us. I didn't want to leave without an explanation. But I'm afraid that Callie doesn't have a lot of time.
What's going on?
Callie's power is recharging faster than I anticipated. It will soon reach the point where I won't be able to help her. Then she'll either release it and destroy everything around her, or it will consume her. Either way, people die, including Callia.
So, what are you planning?
Use the Mysterium Xarxis to open a portal to the Deadlands? It's the only place I can think of where Callie will be safe. The realm naturally siphons off a portion of our power. That will give me time to teach Callia to control it on her own.
But you'll be walking right into Dagon's realm.
It's a big place. Zainatami had to avoid notice there. And it's the last place Dagon's followers will think to look for us. As soon as Callia can control her power, we'll come back. I promise. Thank you, my friend. For everything.
Goodbye.
I'll return the book when we come back, Evelie.
Nah, you keep it. I think it was meant for you. Poor Callia. I hope Sombrin's right and he can help her. But taking refuge in the Deadlands? just like the sausage leaping out of the pan because it thinks the fire will be safer. As for me, I never want to visit the Deadlands again.
How do you feel about Sombren taking your book with him?
Hey, it wasn't my book. I was just keeping it safe for... Well, as crazy as it sounds, I think I was meant to give it to Sombren. He certainly did more with it than I ever could. And I'm not about to miss the bad dreams and the waking visions.
So apart from cake, what do we do now?
We go to the party. It's taking place in the gardens behind the governor's mansion. To think, this all started because I was curious about a coded journal I found in Emperor Leovik's old retreat. We figured out the secret, and now we celebrate. I'll see you at the party. Last one there doesn't get any cake.
Right. We can go to the victory celebration. That's a supply of ancestor silk. Bum, 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 bum. Go to the victory celebration.
Did you hear about the battle at Fort Redmane? The Blackfin Legion and the Ivory Brigade won the day.
Thanks to those mercenaries from Leowin that I told you
That
about.
sounds delicious, assassin. You must leave me a copy of the recipe.
But I heard Mehrunes Dagon actually appeared.
Daedric Prince.
Welcome to the celebration, mercenary. There are many here who wish to thank you and share a drink or two. But where are Sombren and Kalia? I expected you to bring them with you.
Sombren took Kalia somewhere to teach her how to control her power, where they won't endanger others.
Choosing exile to spare others from danger is a noble decision. I wish them well, even as I worry about Sombren and Kalia out there on their own. Everyone else has gathered. Eat, drink, talk to your friends. In time, I shall address the crowd.
Who shall I talk to?
Anyone you like. They have all come to show you their appreciation. And do not leave too swiftly. I intend to boast of your accomplishments soon. I see Evely has arrived. Perhaps you should begin with her.
So this is what it's like being the hero everyone looks up to? Most of the stories I've read end with a hero riding off into the sunset before anyone can properly thank them. But I feel like we ought to stay for just a little while, don't you?
Definitely. You're a famous adventurer now.
I don't know about that, but I certainly feel more experienced. And I have you to thank. Well, you and Captain Rian and Governor Keshu and poor Farrell Lupus. Can you believe this all started because I couldn't leave Emperor Leovik's secret alone?
We still need to find the fourth ambition.
That's right, I almost forgot. And we should be ready to help Sombren and Kalia when they return. I don't believe that Mehrunes Dagon and his followers are just going to leave them alone. I really thought the ambitions were actual weapons, though.
You take care, Evely.
Here, your share of the last of our compensation from Leowin. And a little something from me. I learned so much at your side. If you ever need any help, just send word and I'll come running. Oh look, I think Governor Keshu's ready to speak.
Damn it. We had some poison, we can get rid of that. Didn't we? Yeah, that's not part of a set.
Oh, hey! I almost forgot. I have here your share of the last of our compensation.
Welcome, people of Blackwood and honored friends. We have weathered a terrible storm, so now we celebrate. Many had a hand in this victory, including those who gave their lives for our cause. But I want to honor the two heroes beside me. Without them, all would have been lost. So stand tall and raise your cups to the sky. Remember those who fell and praise the deeds of those who lived. To victory!
Clarice.
It's good to see you, friend. I wanted to make sure you knew how thankful I am for rescuing Stibbins from all that slime. Good help, well, mediocre help, is so hard to replace. Oh, and I heard you saved Blackwood. Congratulations on that.
And what's next for Lady Laurent?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be another adventure. And Stibbins goes where I go. I can't seem to get rid of him, no matter how hard I try. No, I jest. I wouldn't think of leaving him behind. Who else would carry all my packages? He's very good at that.
Oh, a party was just what I needed to calm my nerves after what happened at the Zonmir. It's sort of refreshing to attend a function where I'm not the primary servant doting on the crowd.
So no lingering effects?
No, unless you count these tiny balls of goo that keep following me around. Lady Laurent says she catches glimpses of other me's in the crowd, but I think that's just her nerves. She can be quite tense and irritable if she skips her afternoon tea.
Heroic friend, I am very glad to see you alive and well. It is a shame I could not fight in the fierce battle with you and lend you my incredible strength. But a great warrior such as yourself proved victorious anyway.
How are things?
Tentative, like a newly formed river emerging from two springs. But it flows. The water is muddy, but will soon run fresh and clear, I am sure. Nahish Nurwal and Lieutenant Beria have been working hard to ensure that our peace lasts. Thanks to you.
A pleasure to see you again. Many Brigadines, myself included, have been quite impressed with the stories we've heard of your exploits. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, given what you did for us at Hutanzel.
So, any chance I could talk you into enlisting in the Ivory Brigade?
No.
No? I didn't think so. I want to thank you for helping us with all this. I hate to imagine what would have become of Blackwood, if not for you and Everly. I'm in your debt.
I wanted you to know how appreciative I am of what you've done for us. Not only did you reveal Vandacia for the traitor he was, you took him down and saved Blackwood. Countess Cairo in the Chamber of Legates, thank you. You're always welcome here.
What are your plans for Leowyn now?
Plans? The same as they were before this trouble started. Work with Gideon to secure our borders and keep the war from impacting Blackwood directly. Make sure our communities stay safe and prosper. If not for you, none of that would even be possible.
You're not wearing that dashing outfit I sold you? If today's celebration is not the perfect occasion to dress up, I don't know what is. Perhaps you should visit my shop again to freshen up your wardrobe, hmm? Why? Shouldn't a leading Leowyn business person attend a celebration for all of Blackwood? Besides, after I let word slip that you and Everly had patronized my shop, business has been booming. Everyone just has to know which outfit you selected.
I suppose things worked out in the end, but let me offer a word of caution. Dragging the Brotherhood into this was risky. What you do in your spare time is your business, but assassins don't like the spotlight. We prefer lurking in the shadow.
I didn't drag you into this. What's next for Master Assassin?
You mean after helping you clean up this massive debacle? Oh, the usual, I guess. Try some more of the local cuisine. Collect my next contract. Complete my next contract. What can I say? I'm a creature of habit.
I think we've talked to everyone we can talk to, haven't we? Oh no.
It seems you have done well, little mortal. I hear you killed Mehrunes Dagon's high priest and stopped the planes from merging.
Yes.
I find you to be interesting. I will remember that the next time I require the assistance of a mortal agent.
The next time?
You must realize that the events surrounding Leovik's secret and the four ambitions have not yet reached their climax. When next Dagon and his followers emerge from the shadows, I will be waiting to see what they do. And then, I'll send for you.
Uh-huh. So there is still the fourth ambition out there somewhere. We will slip away. Now what do we get? Battle more. health, magic, and stamina cost. Okay. Grab that. Oh, it's just mail. Stuff in here that's new. Yep. Alright, let's remember where the workshop area was.
Did you hear about the battle at Fort Redmane? The Blackfin Legion and the Ivory Brigade won the day.
Thanks to those mercenaries from
Or am I
Leowin that
thinking of Leowin rather than Gideon?
You are the smartest lizard in Gideon. But I heard Nehru's Dagon actually appeared.
A Daedric prince? Here? Nonsense. But I do want to thank the mercenaries for helping Blackwood. But the cute wood elf and her friend.
I'm gonna hammer Gideon, okay. Can be an author's assistant. Should be a gentle change of pace.
Right. So if that's north, that means... Wait, that's not right. Oh, more was mercy. A little help, anyone? Are you from around here? Sorry, I'm not familiar with Gideon and... Wait, are you here because of my flyers? Thank Ruptka. Call me Yusara. I'm here on a thrilling, inspirational journey. And I could really use a sturdy companion.
What sort of assistance do you need?
I'm an author. Aspiring, really. I've penned a few romance novels, but they all lack, what's the word? Authenticity, yes. So, I resolved to get out into the world and find my muse. Now, here's the exciting part. I found it in Castle Giaves.
You found your romantic muse in a crumbling castle?
Yes. Well, not exactly. A tragic affair played out there years ago, and love-struck spirits still haunt the castle. I acquired a magic lantern that allows me to speak to the ghosts. But you know, ghosts. I need you to ward off the angrier spirits.
I'll help.
Thank you for agreeing to accompany me. With your help, my next romance novel will be a masterpiece. Here, take the lantern. Now, fair warning, I've never actually used it, but I heard a ghostly woman wanders the city gardens. We can test it there.
What can you tell me about this enchanted lantern?
Well, I can tell you it's alien in origin. It's, you know, it's quite lovely, and it lets you talk to ghosts.
How?
Oh, that's easy. You just sort of jiggle it, or something. Look, I'm an impulse buyer, but I'm certain it will work. The orc I bought it from is a very reputable dealer. The ghost won't be able to resist its glow. You'll see.
What do you know about this tragic affair?
Only the basics. My great-great-grandmother lived in Gideon for a time before immigrating back to Sentinel, and she brought back all kinds of stories. Some joyful, but most tragic. I just wish I could have met her before she passed to the far shores.
So, what's the story?
Oh, you know, star-crossed lovers, murder, betrayal, that sort of thing. But like I said before, I'm done with those tired old cliches. I want facts. That's why we're going straight to the source.
What makes you think it's true?
My great-great-grandmother may have embellished a bit. What storyteller doesn't? But every tale she told had some seed of truth to it. And after speaking to the people here in Gideon, I'm certain I'm onto something. You'll see.
Alright, go to the city gardens. And jiggle a lantern or something. Might look a little odd if the party's still going on.
You made it! Alright, this is the place where people see the spirit. Go on and try out the lantern.
Who intrudes upon my grief? Gioves is lost. My son is lost. All that remains is sorrow.
Tava's feathers! I was right!
You can see me? It matters little. The miseries of Castle Gioves bind me here. Bind all of us here. We are cursed. Our gardens wither. Our once great walls crumble. And my gentle son feels nothing but heartache.
Who are you? What brought this curse on the castle?
I am Duchess Estella of Castle Gioves. As for the curse, it is the work of a vile trollop named Alizinda. Arche scorn her soul. My darling boy, Mathen was infatuated with her. And how did she repay his affection? By murdering him in cold blood.
Why did she kill your son?
I cannot bear to speak of it anymore. My poor Mathen. I sense his presence sometimes. He's bound to the place where he died. An old cottage northeast of Gioves. Place where he and Alizinda twisted.
Okay, I'll go to the cottage and speak with your son.
It worked! I told you it would work! Tall Papa's breeches, what a tale! A ghostly duchess, lusty young nobles, betrayal and murder. This story's got it all. Whew. Is it getting hot out here, or is it just me?
The Duchess says her son was cursed.
Yes, tied to a cottage nearby. I can almost picture it. Rustic, secluded, tossel quilts, embers smoldering on the hearth. Gives me the prickles. Almost makes you forget someone likely died there. Something she said does trouble me a bit.
What's that?
The Duchess said the lover's name was Alizinda. That was my great-great-grandmother's name. It can't be a coincidence, can it? She lived in Gideon for a time before moving back to Alakir. Do you think my ancestor murdered Mathen?
Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go talk to Mathen. Okay, we got routes out of the city. Okay, go straight across toward the stable. Oh, stable. I get my daily riding lesson.
I was nervous, thinking of trying to take the chasm. It was tough.
I treat my mom.
We gotta go. Alright, no fun. Not far. I'm gonna guess. Sort of ruined looking hut over here.
This is the cottage the Duchess mentioned, I think. Not all that romantic, is it? Let's look around.
Alizinda's journal. Oh, he says it so sweetly. Alizinda, you are my moonlit night, my daytime warmth of the sun. But is that just the way a noble might speak to his mistress. I sometimes fear that Mathen sees me as nothing more than a spring dalliance. I know that I can't measure up to the Nibonese ladies who swoon at his approach. I know I have little to offer, but even so, I feel a love for him that's warmer than the Alakir desert at high sun. I hope he knows that. He loves me. Tall Papa's breeches, what did I do to deserve such a man? He told me I fretted in vain. He says his heart belongs to me and to me alone. He even spoke of marriage, can you imagine? All my dreams are coming true. I was such a fool. Love? It's a cruel joke. All Mathen's talk of marriage and travel were nothing but lies. Honeyed words that let him indulge in rebellious frivolities. The other women tell me he's proposed to someone else, the heir of a northern province who has not yet arrived. I'm sure the Duchess is very proud. Well, I won't be made a fool of, not any more. All is prepared. Mathen plans to meet me at the cottage tonight. It has to be tonight. Every night my anger grows dimmer and the sadness takes its place. He broke my heart. He used me. If I don't make him pay now, I fear I never will. Damn you, Mathen. Damn you for making me hurt the one I love. Tarnished Ring of Mara.
Nothing but creaky floorboards and old weeds for me. I knew I should have brought my spectacles. What did you find?
I found an old ring and a journal belonging to Alexander.
May I? Her anguish just jumps off the page, doesn't it? So, Mathen intended to marry someone else and Alexander killed him in a fit of passion. Can you imagine loving someone so deeply that you end up murdering them? Gods, that's romantic. Sort of.
Do you think that the ring belonged to her as well?
It's a ring of Mara, the sort of ring used in a pledge of marriage. Mathen might have intended to give it to this mysterious fiancé or... I'll hang on to the ring. Let's use the lantern. Maybe Mathen can shed some light on this.
Right, I'll light the lantern and call out Mathen's ghost.
Who's there? Alexander, my love. Is it you?
So this is Mathen? Gracious. Grandmother Alexander clearly knew how to pick them.
This light, it offers some respite from my sorrows. You have my thanks. I am Mathen Gallanus, heir to the Duchy of Gioves. What brings you to this place?
Your mother, Duchess Estella, asked us to speak to you. She said you're both victims of a curse.
Curse? Is heartache not curse enough? My great love, Alexander, poisoned me on the very night I meant to propose to her. Someone deceived her. Told her I meant to marry another. She killed me, yes. But it was an act of jealous grief, not witchcraft.
So if Alexander didn't lay a curse on you, why are you and your mother still here? It's his mother.
I do not know. I've learned that certain objects hold a grip on the soul. Things we treasured in life. In my darkest moments, I sometimes feel drawn to the chapel where they laid my body to rest. I see harsh light glinting off my golden armor.
Do you think this armor could be what's keeping you here?
Maybe. These long, grey years make it difficult to think. Seek out the chapel. You will find it to the west, amidst the ruins of the castle. If my armor keeps me in this sorry state, I beg you to find it. Without love, there is nothing for me here.
Alright, we'll go and look for your armor.
My lady, forgive my impertinence, but you are the very image of my lost love, Alexander. How could this be?
Oh my goodness. I believe I'm her descendant, brave Sir Duke. Baron, whatever. My name's Ysara, by the way. What were we talking about again?
You share her spirit, Lady Ysara. At last, fate grants me a kindness.
We must help him. That poor soul.
All right.
I'll catch up to you at the chapel, all right? I need to jot down some notes.
We want to fight wisps. Well, at least there isn't a wisp mother, I guess. That's something. Have some maple though. Well, I learnt my lesson about electric plants. Handy, Andy. Looks like we've got some spirits here. Find more ghosts than I need to.
Well, here we are, and not a scrap of golden armor in sight. Let's have a look around.
I know that you have by now heard that the only son of the Duchy of Geovesp was cruelly murdered by a spurned lover. The woman who is suspected of the foul deed, a Redguard, seems to have fled back to the desert sands from which she hailed. It seems doubtful that she can be brought to justice. Mathan the son is greatly mourned. Like his father before him, he was well liked by all in Geovesp and beyond. He was adored by his mother, though some say she was a bit more controlling than loving. I do not judge, only offer advice or counsel when asked. As you know, I have faithfully served the Gallius family for decades. His position has not been without its occasional troubles. The late Duke was a devout man, but his lady wife, Duchess Estella, is perhaps less so. She does of course attend and oversee all the rites and rituals that someone in her position must do, but I have always thought that perhaps her heart was not in it. However, with the loss of Mathan, I now genuinely question her devotion to the gods and the path of light. I wonder if your grace might consider a visit to Castle Geovesp to take counsel with the Duchess. I do not wish to put to paper some of the rumours I have heard recently about what she might be doing in her private study. That she has tomes related to the darker arts, nor how she rails and rages about the loss. She clearly cannot pass into a state of acceptance of such a fate. I reckon she tried to poison.
Well, here we are, and not a scrap of golden armor in sight. Let's have a look around.
Wanted to poison the lover, but ended up poisoning her son. Gaze deep into a mother's sorrow and pluck the seed of fury. Call forth the bitter ghost to help light spirit's path. Restore life lost by blood with shadows long and twisted. Return what murder took, no price is too dear. To be it.
Well, here we are, and not a scrap of golden armor in sight. Let's have a look. What's that you've got there? Not a golden helm by any chance?
Nope, some strange lines written out. Have a look.
A magical incantation. The handwriting is different from Alizinda's journal. That means she can't be responsible for the curse. I knew my ancestor wasn't a sorceress. A murderer? Maybe, but not a sorceress. Of course, this all begs the question.
Who really placed the curse on the castle?
Yes, and more importantly, why? The person who cast the spell clearly had an axe to grind. Maybe it was a court wizard, or some jilted witch. My novel's less romance and mystery at this point. Let's use the lantern again. Maybe the culprit's here.
Alright.
What are you doing here? Why aren't you caring for my boy? Did you find my dear Mathin? Can't I trust you to locate a simple cottage?
We found Mathin, but Alizinda didn't place the curse on Gioves. Someone else did.
How is that possible? It had to be Alizinda. When Mathin died, the duchy's light died with him. That Redguard wench cast us into darkness. If I could just have brought him back, I could have...
Wait, you tried to bring him back from the dead?
Yes. Harkay, forgive me. I wept over his body in this very chapel for 3 days without sleep or nourishment. My grief was ocean deep. He was my only boy. So I cast a simple spell. I tried to draw him back with promises of glory. I failed.
Tell me more about the spell.
I cast the spell over his armor and sword, but it went awry. I wrote everything down. You can find my notes in my private study beneath the eastern wall. If you find his helm, breastplate, and shield too, you might be able to set things right.
Alright, I'll look for your notes and the armor.
Necromancy? How could she?
You. Oh, I see you well enough, Redguard. You think I don't notice the family resemblance? You stay away from my boy!
Tava's feathers. Bit touchy, isn't she? Let's make our way to this private study. Carefully.
Seem pretty careful. This is where I wanted to come. This is private study.
His own mother toying with dark magic in this very room. What a plot twist.
Nice. A recipe we didn't know. Take the cheese, why not? Assume my beloved Mathen will return. Oh shit. I wanted to read that. Yes, but I didn't read it.
You found Duchess Estella's notes that quickly? Thank Rooped Guy can rely on your eyes. Can barely see a thing in this place. What do they say?
Okay. Apparently the spell involved burying Mathen's armour under clumps of heartsbane.
Really? Oh, I think I spotted some on the way across the castle grounds. I knew that herbalism workshop would come in handy someday. If we do manage to find the armor, be careful pulling it out of the tangle. Heartsbane's quite deadly.
Now be careful.
I saw a clump of heartsbane on the way here. Come on! This way, I think. There! That's heartsbane, right? You found his helm? We're off to a great start. Sorry. I feel like we've assembled most of the clues to this mystery, but I just can't shake the feeling that we're missing something here.
What do you mean?
Well, Duchess Estella got them into the situation, right? She cast the ugly spell that cursed poor Mathen, and now we're gathering up the items she used to make this mistake in the first place? It can't be that simple. What are we missing?
You think there's more she's not telling us?
Maybe, maybe not. She wasn't a professional necromancer. Maybe she missed something too. Remember what Mathen told us? Certain objects take hold of the soul. If that's the case, isn't it odd that we found him in the cottage instead of the chapel?
We found that ring of Mara in the cottage. Do you think that might play a role?
Only one way to find out. Let's use the lantern again. I'm still carrying the ring. If he followed us here, maybe we're onto something.
All right.
Lady Ysara, I had not expected to see you again. Why do you summon me? Where are we? It's been so long since I walked the grounds of the castle. I scarcely recognize it. Whatever the place, it is good to speak to someone again. And to see the fair image of my lost love.
Your mother is responsible for the curse. She told us to find your armor so we can break the spell.
Spell? Some ill-conceived plot to resurrect me, I presume. Mother never could suppress her passion for the occult. Now we both pay the price. But even so, I feel something else now. Some other force that nags at my soul. Something fairer, softer.
We found the ring you planned to give Alizinda before she murdered you.
My ring of Mara? I had not thought to see it again. I see it clearly now, though. At rest near the heart of the fair Lady Ysara. The course is clear, friend. Gather my armor and rid me of the curse. In the meantime, I will bask in Ysara's glow.
What do you mean?
Lady Ysara, you bear not only Alizinda's ring, but her spirit as well. Had I a heart, it would pound like a drum at the sight of you.
Thank you, Mathen. I'm sorry for what happened to you. My friend and I will fix it, I promise.
Having you beside me is all I need. Come, let me sweep you away. Find my armor and break the curse. Your friend will be safe with me in the meantime.
Oh my! What just happened?
Okay.
Mathen, what did you do?
You have nothing to fear, lovely son. I only hope to spend another moment with you. I mean no harm. You are so like Alizinda.
I'm flattered, but I'm not Alizinda. I'm barely anyone.
The bit of armor. Maybe she didn't kill him. What if he killed himself? She said she was leaving, and he killed himself.
You summon me again? Did you find the armor? Where is your lecherous friend? Just like her ancestor, ensnaring her betters, meddling in family affairs. Huh. Mathen should be thanking me for sparing him the pain.
Mathen abducted her. What do you mean, spare him the pain?
Mathen truly meant to marry Alizinda. A woman with no pedigree, no means, and no great talent. She was a no one. I couldn't bear the idea of him throwing his future, and that of our duchy, away over some childish romance. So I spread a rumor.
You convinced Alizinda that Mathen meant to marry someone else.
I only meant to split them apart. It was for his own good. Typical of low-bred paupers, she overreacted. Mathen died by her hand, not mine. None of this matters. What matters is breaking the curse. I need one last object. The Sword of Gioves.
And that's where?
It is in the mausoleum, beneath the Great Bridge, guarded by Calvis Vannon, 1st Duke of Gioves. Retrieve the sword and bring everything you found to Tavia's tower. If all goes as it should, we can reverse the spell, and set both of us free.
The ritual better free Ysara too.
I don't want that woman lingering near my son any more than you do. Find the sword and bring it to the tower.
Okay. So we gotta fight the 1st Duke. Fun.
I lost Alizinda. I never met anyone so driven by their passions. She loved deeply, recklessly. Her face still haunts me.
Gioves Mausoleum. Swanky. Yeah, because this doesn't look like an arena at all. It's kind of a small sword. Alright, I thought that was going to be a bit more of a battle. Just it's only a side quest, it's not going to get a major boss battle. Where are we going now? That tower, so we want to go back round this way. The tower I almost went into earlier. Want any of that. Alright, Talia's Tower. Bookshelf empty.
Mathen, my darling boy. We can finally end this curse.
And now I part with the Lady Ysara as well? Is there nothing you won't take from me?
Place the regalia, adventurer. It is well past time we left.
Farewell, dear lady. I wish we had more time.
Mathen! Why aren't you... Mathen!
I'm still here?
My poor Mathen. What went
I am
wrong?
sorry for absconding with dear Lady Ysara. I found myself conflicted, torn between two intentions. One in the cursed armor, and another in the Ring of Mara. You sundered Mother's curse, but it seems my soul remains tied to the ring.
Well then, Sauron. Don't tell me we're going to go to bloody Mount Doom and drop it in a volcano. So, you mean you're still trapped here despite breaking the curse?
Trapped? Perhaps. The foul burden of necromancy no longer weighs me down. But my connection to the ring is no less intense. It's passionate, fiery. It's like all my unfulfilled dreams and desires remain bound to that band. And to Lady Ysara.
Is there a way to free you?
Perhaps. Part of me still yearns for the warmth of Aetherius. But now, as I behold the beautiful Lady Ysara, I'm given pause. She is so like my beloved Alizinda, with a heart as warm as the sands she walked as a child. I must speak with her.
Alright, I'm sure she wants to talk to you too.
Sarah. Light of my afterlife. That ring you carry is the key to my heart. I leave my fate in your hands.
My hands? Mathen, what are you saying?
If you choose to wear the ring, I will remain by your side. An attentive and loving guardian.
Are you serious? Tall Papa, preserve me.
Destroy the ring, and I will pass to Aetherius. The choice, my lady, is yours.
Did I just get a proposal from a ghost? Up until now, the only man who ever wooed me was a stable hand in Bergama. I know I should recoil at this. It's profane, blasphemous, right?
Yes, you're a red guard.
Gods, he's cute. And the way he speaks, it's like a dream.
He said the choice is yours.
Ugh! How could he lay something like this at my feet? I can barely decide which boots to wear most days. When he swept me away, he told me his heart was torn to pieces. He said I was the only balm. He said I was his second chance.
Do you think that's true?
I don't know. Aside from the whole ghostly murder victim thing, this is what my heart always yearned for. It's why I write romance novels. The thought that I could bring him love and joy is intoxicating. Still, he deserves peace and rest, right?
Ghost boyfriend or free his soul? I'd go for it.
Yes, I want to write and travel and feel the rush of romance every time I slip on this ring. Mathen and I have so much to offer one another. It will be a little weird, yes, but like I said before, who wants normal romance? Certainly not me. I want you to stay with me, Mathen. I know it's weird, but...
Weird? No, my lady. Unique. Unique and perfect.
All right. My work as a matchmaker here is done. As weird or unique and perfect as it was. Ghosts. Okay, there's a wisp mother. There must be side quests galore. Farmer's Nook. We kind of bypassed that on our way to somewhere else, didn't we? Go and check that out. There's a way shrine this way. Good, good, good. Spriggans. Don't like fighting Spriggans unless I have to. Wow. It's quite a statue. ancestor silk as well, haven't we? So can we get to that Aeonid well? I don't think we can. I think it's just a decoration. Right, my shrine is up here. There it is. Right, let's go to oh, right. Farmer's Nook. No, that's Blood Run. Alright, yeah. Completely the wrong direction. Okay, so that takes us to is that in the store? Let's have a quick. Houses. So, should we go and check it out? Panther Fang Chapel. But this is damn expensive. Nice. Not exactly what you call cozy. So I can't see it furnished either. And what's the outdoor space like? It's basically a fortress. that? And this is part of it as well. Holy crap. It's freaking immense. If this will be for sale or if this will be like a reward for something. Holy heck. Wow, this is one hell of a house. How do we get out? Wow. Like it. Like it, like it. Now back down to my boat. Interested to see how much that's going to cost. All right. Off to the other place. Trolls. Some platinum. Keep collecting crafting supplies. I don't really ever do any crafting. This is where we wanted. And there's a quest giver.
I admit it's quite a story, but I know the difference between a tall tale and a large problem. I'll help however I can.
I shudder to think what your elven circus would consider far-fetched. I'm not so sure I believe it myself.
My, you're as free-roaming as a traveling circus. I wouldn't have expected we'd cross paths on the other side of Tamriel. I would invite you to join us as a guest performer, but our show is cancelled indefinitely. On account of drama, ironically.
What's the trouble?
There's a more sinister mischief in Farmer's Nook than the sort the House of Reveries trades in. I hear of townsfolk disappearing, only to turn up and act oddly. We only set camp recently, but the locals fear we've somehow caused their plight.
Do you have any idea what's happening?
None. That farmer Hesef said his sister was among the afflicted, and she died recently. At least he thought she died, but she left no corpse. I must clear the troop's name. With the locals wary as they are, though, I need help. And I can pay.
Alright, I'll help.
Hesef mentioned that 2 of his neighbors also had loved ones vanish. Braden DeVoe and Jahuz. Speak with them. They may be more open with a less grandiose traveler. You might also speak with Hesef directly, if you wish.
How have you been since the House of Reveries?
Patching things up with my sister was easier than I expected. I should have given her more credit. They say you can never truly know another person, but talking helps. You should pay another visit. Maybe audition for real this time.
And what are you doing out here?
Sleepy little towns like Farmer's Nook are the most in need of an escape from the mundane. We came to offer them some mirth and mystery, but it appears we've been upstaged. Well, our troop won't be outdone so easily. We have a reputation to uphold.
And what are you planning?
Help, of course. I've devoted my life to liberating people from their troubles, however briefly. And if I can't do that from a stage, then I will take my talents where they are most needed.
This could be dangerous.
Have you forgotten already? I may have abandoned joining the Sapiarchy, but I was still a top candidate among many a talented scholar and mage. I don't have your experience as an adventurer, but I'm more suited to unraveling this mystery than most.
So, working with the mummers. They may seem strange, but you're safer resting at their camp than at the inn. Not to say Braden runs a poor establishment, mind. There's just strangeness afoot in our little village.
I'm helping Alchemy with your problem. She suggested I hear your story for myself.
Folk have been going missing of late, including my sister, Seal. Never for long, a few days. Just enough to plant a worry before they wander back as if nothing happened. But something did. They come back different. Like everything's unfamiliar.
Like she forgot everything?
Weren't her memory. She could recall details down to where she last left the salt, but acted like she'd never tasted it. She'd bring up things I'd long forgotten as if they'd happened yesterday. Started dredging up old hurts we'd put past us long ago.
Could that have been related to her disappearing?
Can't say. Felt like she wanted to relive the past, good and bad. Don't know what would have brought that on. We lead quiet lives now. Happy lives, I thought. Led, I suppose. She's gone now. If it was even her in the first place.
What happened to her?
Seal led me to our old swimming hole. Hadn't been there in decades. She dove right in like we did as kids. I looked away before she struck the water. She hit hard. When I screwed up the courage to look, just inky black water. She was gone.
That's the last time you saw her?
That's right. Even with that ink in the pool, I could tell her body weren't there. I searched around the swimming hole, too. Nothing. Not so much as a wet footprint, or even more of that vile ink, like she'd vanished.
What sort of things did she bring up before you went to the swimming hole?
A lot from our childhood, mostly. If our parents were around, they were deep in the skooma, so Seal and I had to look out for each other. Not so much anymore. The years have been peaceful here. I suppose we'd grown distant before she vanished.
You drifted apart?
No. Maybe. We'd sit down for meals together and tend the farm together, but there's not much to talk about in Farmer's Nook. Another field planted, another day gone by. Was she trying to tell me something? What was she trying to say?
What can you tell me about the time before she went missing?
We were all a bit shaken by what happened with Igmund, but things were getting back to normal. Until Seal went out to collect logs and didn't return. I begged the others to help me search for her, but they feared they'd vanish too.
Did you find anything?
Truth is, I didn't make it far myself. I thought I heard things in those woods. Even during the day, it felt like something was watching. When she showed up at the house again, I nearly fainted. I should have been relieved, but I felt haunted.
Think it could have been her ghost?
Can a ghost take your hand? Make a meal? If she slept, I never saw it. I barely slept myself. The staring was the worst. Felt like she was always watching, smiling. When she'd blink, it was like one eye was a hair shy of the other. Gave me chills.
Alright, we'll talk to this other guy. Jahuz.
Ah! Careful! You might have scared the mayor. Who are you? What do you want?
I'm looking into the disappearances and the strange way people are acting when they return.
You've come about Bugtail. I knew someone would, but my neighbors have kept their distance since he returned. I cannot blame them. I scarcely wish to take him back myself, not after Igman and Seal, but I couldn't bring myself to turn him away.
Are you afraid of Bugtail?
Yes. Or rather, I fear I will share his fate. Bugtail rode out to deliver a horse despite my protest. The gelding returned. He did not. Before I would have been the first to go looking, but I dreaded he'd return. Like the others. And he did.
Where is he now?
Dead. Or gone. For now. Even the horses could tell something was wrong with him. I fought with this one's reins as he groomed her, but she started and kicked Bugtail. Ink sprayed everywhere. When I cleared my eyes, it was all that remained.
I have some other questions if you're willing to share more.
I do not wish to speak of what has happened here, but I will. How many more will vanish and return to haunt us if no one tries to stop it? What is it you wish to know, stranger?
Who was Bugtail to you?
In the far-off land of Elsewhere, I was taken by sea elf privateers and sold into imperial slavery. Bugtail had been a slave for many years when I arrived. Like many Khajiit after Queen Eurexia invaded Elsewhere. We bonded, because we spoke so little.
How did you escape?
You may think me a spinner of tall tales, but I swear I speak no lies. Bugtail and I were languishing under the hot sun, digging new metal for the Imperial Queen, when a dragon swooped out of the sky and scorched the land. In the chaos, we ran.
I believe you. I've been to Elsewhere, seen the dragons.
I hope those days have better prepared you for our troubles than I. Truthfully, I do not know what scared me more. Seeing that giant fire-belching beast, or my quiet friend standing at my door, like a phantom.
What about Bugtail made you and the horses uneasy?
I would not have suspected anything amiss had I not known of what happened to Igman and Seal. There was nothing sinister in his look or manner. If anything, he regarded me more warmly than he had in years. Normally, he could go days without a word.
Any idea why he was so talkative?
He seemed to want to reminisce about our more adventurous days, before we escaped to Farmer's Nook and settled down to raise horses. They were livelier times, but I would not trade them for what I have now.
Okay, ooh. A Sigic thingamabob. Let's go loot that. Talk to Braden Davo.
We're out of meat and no hot meals. If those are luxuries to which you're accustomed, you can keep on moving and find another inn.
I'm looking into the disappearances and the way people have been acting.
What are you, some sort of adventurer?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you look the part. Sorry I was short with you. Since Igmund passed, I've had to work twice as hard and twice as long to run the inn. It's done my manor no favors.
What happened?
Damned fool. He wanted to build a bonfire and drink the night away like we used to. Haven't seen Igmund down mead like that since we were barely men. He lost his legs and tumbled into the fire. Nothing but cinders left by the time I doused the blaze.
No remains.
Not so much of a scrap of clothing. Just black, tarry ashes. Never seen anything throw such a thick black smoke. But it didn't smell like you'd expect. Hair and burned flesh. More like old hay or musty linens. It wasn't natural.
What happened before Igmund's death?
I want to know what happened to my brother. Whether he's alive or truly dead. Even if the truth says he really did die in that fire, at least I can put my doubts to rest. What do you wish to know?
I heard Igmund went missing for a little while.
That's right. He'd gone to get supplies from Gideon. What should have been a couple of days turned into more than a week. I'd begun to fear that he'd been robbed and left for dead on the road, but he wandered back into town like nothing had happened.
Did he say what happened?
Said he got lost. As if he hadn't walked that road 1,000 times. I'd have accused him of gambling our money away on toad races, but he had every piece of gold he left with. How do you spend a week lost in the wood and not look worse for wear?
Was there anything else unusual about him?
Like he didn't have a care in the world. He seemed to be enjoying even the usual drudgery. Never thought I'd miss his belly aching over the chores, but he just didn't seem himself.
Anything unusual occur before he went missing?
No. Things were as they usually are in Farmer's Nook. Uneventful. It's exciting times when our little inn sees more than a couple travelers in a month. Ever since Igmund got lost, things have been nothing but trouble.
How so?
2 others disappeared since Igmund, and all 3 were acting strange before they met untimely ends. If that's even what you could call it. No one wanders from the village now. Some folk are sleeping in my inn just to stick close.
Wait a moment, stranger. I need to speak with you. So you're the one's been asking questions about the people who've gone missing, then come back wrong?
That's right.
I don't like involving strangers in our affairs, but my daughter's gone. Not the first time, or even the 4th, that Annis has run off, but... well, you've heard what befell the others. I'm worried she's in real danger.
When did you last see her?
A few days ago. I punished her for neglecting her chores again. She must have snuck out in the night. I couldn't find hide nor hair of her in the morning. She hasn't been home since. She's a stubborn one. But normally she'd have come back by now.
You're afraid she's vanished like the others?
I just want to know she's all right. I hate asking a stranger to do this, but no one else has the spine to leave the Nook right now. And I can't go traipsing after that rapscallion like I used to. Will you find Annis and bring her back to me?
Where should I start my search?
Our house is just over there, on the west side of town. There may be something among Annis' things that points to where she ran off to. But my nerves are too frayed to see it. I'm at my wit's end.
What can you tell me about her?
She doesn't want to live here in Farmer's Nook, I can tell you that. That girl's been trying to get out of here since she was old enough to walk. She's still convinced she's going to travel to Abba's Landing and join some pirate crew.
Annis wants to be a pirate?
It's not like I raised her to embrace a life of piracy. It's those books her father got her when she was young. Filled her head with ridiculous tales of far-off lands, adventures, and riches. I sailed in my younger days. It's not so glamorous.
What do you mean?
Sailing is days of rope burns and sunburns. It's being tossed about the cabin while a storm rolls your ship. It's bad food, stale water, and wondering if you'll ever make it home. And that's not the life she's dreaming, although she won't listen.
Alright, let's go search the house. This one, yep. Handbill. As numerous deep chips, as it were used to strike hard objects, not cut meat. Hands across the bridge, round the rock, to some other rocks.
We don't have much, I know. Annie's never fails to remind me. Have you found anything that might lead to my daughter?
Found some fragments of a burned note in the fireplace. Was that yours?
That's just some old handbill Annie's had been hanging on to. Months old. Some vessel seeking fresh-faced deckhands that's long since pulled up anchor. I pitched it to the hearth after our last argument. Probably why she left. But not where.
Your butcher's knife has taken some real abuse.
When Annie's was little, we couldn't keep her away from it. She'd grab it when we weren't looking and batter the walls and stairs, pretending it was her pirate sword. Drove my husband crazy. I've made do for so long I never bothered to replace it.
What about this map? I found it under her bed.
What's that doing out? Anissa's plan for a fort. My husband built it for her when she was about 6. Well, it must be a moldering wreck by now. Unless... if she hasn't run off to join that elf circus, she might be there. It was east of here, in the hills.
I'll check it out.
Ah, you're off to find this Annie's girl, then. Tell me what you've learned. I wasn't able to overhear everything. You've been gone for some time. You managed to persuade the locals to share their stories with you, yes? Did their firelight tales share any common themes?
All the victims wanted to reminisce about the past and disappeared again after sudden accidents.
Restless phantoms returning to say their last goodbyes before being spirited away once more? This really is beginning to sound like a ghost story. It's all a little too coincidental, don't you think? There has to be a common cause.
I'm looking for a niece. Have you seen her?
You and Hesef have been our only visitors at the camp. If Annie's has only recently gone missing, there may still be a chance for us to find her before she becomes the latest victim in this ghost story. Do you have any leads?
Annie's might have run away to an old play fort in the hills near here.
Seeking out a more comforting time, no doubt. Let's hope she hasn't escaped into the arms of a monster. I'll follow your lead. My expertise in stage combat won't do us much good, but I have a few other talents and tricks up my sleeve.
Okay, let's head to the fort. The house, over the bridge, round the rocks. Brigands? I thought so. Hagreven, maybe?
What a charming little fort. Well cared for, loved. Annie's home away from home. We should look around. Footprints coming here and heading somewhere else.
They're in shipping schedule. Third week, first seed. Meritorious Ivory Brigade patrol vessel departs at dawn. Sonders. Blackfin Legion warship. Merchant vessel. Okay. Vessel departing pending customs inspection bound for Anvil on the Gold Coast. Expected red sails smuggler. This is perfect.
A list of departures. Annie's had a mind to travel. Seems our pirate raided the pantry before she left. She planned to be gone a while.
Battered training sword.
I wonder what adventures this tiny sword has seen. I can picture our young heroine, wielding her imagination like a saber and cutting her way through all manner of adventure. I crave adventure and freedom. Play is my only escape. I come here to plan. I fantasize about leaving. Doubt holds me back. I need someone to believe in me. So often I'm alone, but today I have a visitor. Someone I trust. I go with them. I've never been more excited. I believe I have thrust to the heart of the matter. Hear me out.
What was it you were doing there?
Getting into character, you could say. Preparing for a part is all about understanding my role. How they think, how they feel. Anything and everything about who they are. I have always had a good head for details, and it serves me well as an actress.
What did you learn about Anise?
She's young, or at least young at heart. She's unhappy with her life, but she feels trapped. She has a dream to follow, but she's too scared to go it alone. Only now, she's found help.
How do you know that?
One place to sleep, yet 2 mugs on the crate, both unfinished. And of course, 2 sets of footprints heading south, into the marsh, dancing all the way. The only way forward is to follow in their steps. Shall we dance too?
Let's see what we find in the marsh.
I don't know who Annie's met out here, but the clues suggest that she wasn't in danger. Yet. We shouldn't dawdle. That might very well be the case, though I have to wonder why she'd leave her pack behind if she had no intention to return. I don't like meddling in someone's family affairs, but let's confirm she's all right before we jump to any conclusions.
Any idea who she may have met?
Someone she trusted enough to share a drink with. There's little doubt in my mind that she left with them voluntarily. The question is, was this person really who they appeared to be? We won't know the answer to that until we catch up with them.
Then let's go.
The tracks lead to this ruin. Did Annie's come here seeking adventure? We should look around.
So I haven't succumbed to the humidity of the swamp yet. There is a fresh stink of burned flesh amid the scorched bits of paper and blackened cloth.
Despite the smell, I don't think that's a funerary urn. The ashes are too fresh.
The charred pages are still saturated with blackened blood.
There are bits of paper in this brazier, but most of these books are too soggy for tinder.
Saga of Captain Wereshark.
This book is well worn, but hardly old. Given the subject matter, I'd wager it belonged to Annie's. Well, this is troubling. I believe Annie's came here and performed some sort of ritual, and not the sort conjured from an overactive imagination. Whoever she followed here convinced her to make an offering to this place.
What makes you say that?
I'm certain that well-worn adventure book was a dear possession to Annie's. She wouldn't have torn pages from it for a lark. She burned them in that brazier with her own blood for some ritual purpose.
Any idea what?
Daedric rituals weren't on my curriculum in the College of Sapiarchs, but I've studied enough magic to puzzle this out. There's a good chance Annie's will return to town, like the others. If she does, confront her about this.
Alright, I'll head back now.
If Annie's does return to Farmer's Nook, be careful confronting her. The last thing we want is for her to do something drastic and come to harm like those who came before her.
What if the one who led Annie's out here returns?
Afraid my witty repartee won't be enough to keep me out of trouble? I'm hurt. Trust me when I say I know how to make a dramatic exit when I need to, but if I don't return to town in a short while, assume the worst.
Right, back to town it is. Let's try and do it without picking fights we don't need to. So much for not picking fights I don't need to.
Niece, everything all right?
You. Your mother's looked all over for you. Where have you been?
Ugh, I ran away again, alright? Just be glad I came back at all. What's the big deal? This is the 7th time I tried running away in 3 years. Why are they all gawping at me like they're afraid to blink?
You're not the first person to disappear recently.
Do I know? No, I don't know you. Why do you care? And none of those people disappeared. They went after their dreams. I'm not the only one who has those, you know? Nobody wants to be stuck in Farmer's Nook for their whole life.
But they all came back, like you.
They just didn't want anyone to miss them. It's why I'm here now. I didn't want the last time my mom saw me to be after another fight. But they have to let us go sometime.
You make it sound like they're dead.
What? No, it's not like they're buried in a crypt or anything. I'm just trying to say I'm not the only one who felt trapped here. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I don't even know you.
I hate to interrupt, but... may we have a word in private? So, that's Anis Favrod. What do you make of her?
I don't have anything to compare her to, but she might know more than she's letting on.
How apropos, considering that little library we found is a shrine to Hermaeus Mora. Though I'm still not sure how the Demon of Knowledge fits into this puzzle of ours. Why would Anis consort with it? Perhaps I should have made an offering of my own?
He grants their wishes and sends a duplicate back to town to learn all about their past and get, which is more knowledge for Hermaeus Mora. That's my guess. You're saying Anis was dealing with Daedra?
It certainly looks that way. I didn't find anything relating to the ritual that was performed at that shrine, but some of those moldy tomes shed a little light on things. The Aliads, who used to live out here, revered Mora as their principal prince.
How does that help?
The shrine we found was simply one of many ruins. I discovered record of another ruin near to Farmer's Nook. If we're dealing with a cult, or some other servants of Mora, it would make the perfect hideaway. What do you say we go check it out?
Let's go.
The ruin I spoke of is north of town, not too far. I'll have a word with the innkeeper and Hesef about keeping Anis occupied while we work, but if you wish to speak with anyone else before we head out, I'll wait here.
You're that worried?
We have reason to suspect that Anis is somehow involved in this mystery. Better to assume she is playing the role of the villain until we know more. Even if she's simply another victim of circumstance, it's safer for everyone that she stay put.
She's back. She's safe. Oh, it feels like I've pulled my heart from a vice. Oh, sorry I troubled you with another of Anis's tantrums.
So everything is normal? Nothing unusual?
No, nothing. She looks right as rain, and I'd recognize that attitude anywhere. I know what you're driving at. You're saying I should be worried? Well, out with it.
Your daughter did some kind of ritual in the marsh. You might want to watch her closely.
Ritual? What nonsense has gotten into the girl's head now? Anis doesn't know the first thing about magic. She's just got an overactive imagination and too much free time. Well, thank you for telling me. I'll mention it when I ground her.
All right. Ruin below. How far is it? Not far at all, so we'll stick to the coast. Oh. It's a shrine.
A torn page. We're closing in.
And another.
This looks right. After you. Adventurers first.
Okay, there's the book. She wants to come this way.
Stand back, you e-swab! You cannot board this vessel until you have satisfied me, the mighty Flicker!
Look out, she's... Mighty Flicker? From the saga of Captain Wereshark? That I did not expect.
Ha! Think you can sail with me, wee one? I've felled giants like trees. I've slapped a dragon around until it got down and licked my hand. I've kicked Molag Bal in the arse once, and he begged me to do it again! Ha ha! Answer me this. Why do we sail?
I don't know, I didn't read the book.
And there you have it. What worth is booty if it isn't earned? What is a battle if you don't cut a bloody swath through your enemies? We sail for honor, for glory! Now brace yourself, wee one. You face the Argonian next!
The Argonian?
Will the sea swallow you like so many others? The high seas run deeper than any river, filled with the blood of enemies. A challenge awaits you, sailor. Are you prepared to give our journey your all? Or will you wilt like a mushroom in summer? Tell me, speak true. Why do we sail?
To meet Sithis.
I erect the spine of respect.
He's not
I have
Argonian,
fought countless monsters alongside the Wereshark.
so it's a fair
Yet
guess.
none has ever bested me in battle, much to my regret. One day, I hope, I will meet that which can kill me. Now, face two scars, and rejoice in Sithis.
Okay.
Think you have what it takes to join the Wereshark's crew? I doubt it. So, you've impressed the big bear and the hard turtle. So what? I walk in the shadow and sleep in the trees. I drink snake venom and piss-honeyed mead. I'm the baddest, sharpest, meanest pirate on the high seas, but I don't sail alone. Why? That's right, we're family! Every one of us, from the captain himself to the lowliest swabber of decks, is one big, happy, fierce, terrifying family. No mere crew can hold a candle to us, because we're not a crew, we're blood. Welcome aboard, kin.
Your performance could have used more verve, but it seems the Guardians aren't judging on enthusiasm. Let's head inside. Oriel above. It's Anis and all the others. They appear to be alive. Let's try waking them.
Dare ye cross sabers with Redmane?
Gold. So much gold.
Oh, darling. That's lovely.
Yes. Bring back till more sweet roses.
It's a dream. They're all dreaming. This is no normal sleep, but it's oddly benign for a curse. None of these people appear to be in distress. In fact, they seem to be dozing quite serenely. Some of them have been missing for weeks, yet they show no signs of poor health.
So they're not in any danger?
Not from the spell they're under, no. Though why they were made to sleep and what our mystery stranger intends for them is still very much unknown.
Can we wake them?
I believe so, but I'm not entirely certain we should. Right now, the spell isn't doing any harm, but tampering with it could change that. I'd like to get a better idea how Anise and the others came under this spell before I start striking it through.
What do you have in mind?
Now that you've rehearsed your role, let's cast you as a pirate in her fantasy. See if you can reach Anise within her dream and get her to wake up.
I can try.
When you're ready, place a hand on Anice's forehead and start counting sails.
This is more of a mystery than I was expecting from this little town.
The dead have come for us!
No! Don't go through the portal. I was trying to loot the box, but of course I'm in a dream, I can't. Idiot.
Sailor, what are you doing wandering around? Get across that gangplank and take the fight to these damn Draugr. You mean Red Anise, the Crimson Shrike? Then you need to head to the thick of it, sailor. As soon as Prince Valger's crew boarded us, she made straight for his throat. Last I saw, she was hounding the cadaver back onto his own. Below decks, of course, searching for a way to break this cursed calm. It's Prince Valger's work, have no doubt of that. Yes.
If you came to help, you have my thanks. But it's not needed. Looks like Prince Vogger is going down with his ship. Not that the ship is going down, I mean. It's just... you know what I mean.
This is a dream, Anise. You need to wake up.
What did you... No. I'm Red Anise, the Crimson Shrike, and I'll skewer any swab who says otherwise.
Trust me, none of this is real.
Stow it, sailor. With Prince Vogger dead, we need to find his treasure. Check his cabin, while I search the rest of the hold. This adventure isn't done until we've secured that treasure. Savvy?
I guess I'll look for Prince Vogger's treasure. Oh, they've made a Jack Sparrow. Love it.
Sithis does not require I maintain my knives, but it does make it easier to do their work.
King of Saga of Captain Wereshark, Volume 3.
That's it then? Well, let's have a look. Prince Vogger's treasure was a book. Didn't know old Dead Eyes could read. Well, let's get it back to Captain Wereshark. Maybe it'll help break the curse.
You should look at this book, Anise.
Red anise to you, Swabby. This book, this is about Captain Wereshark and Flicka and the others. I don't understand. This is all a story. But where am I? Why aren't I in the book?
I found you dreaming in an alien ruin. You're under a spell. I entered your dream to wake you.
I remember it now. I remember it all. Damn it, Cress. You said I could finally escape, and no one would come for me. They wouldn't even know I was gone. That was the deal.
Deal? Did you ask for this?
Cress said that they would make it so I could finally live out my dreams. I could have this life, and they would take my place. I'd finally be free of Farmer's Nook, and my mom wouldn't ever need to worry about my life of piracy.
That's not fair to her. You'd both be living a lie.
I know. It was too perfect. I knew it was too perfect. Dreams don't last. That's why they're dreams. Just a few more moments. It was just getting good.
5 more minutes.
I just want to celebrate victory with the captain once before this is all over. Maybe steal a kiss before I go.
You mentioned Cress was behind this? Who's that?
Please, I can tell you about Cress when we're back in the ruin. Just leave me with the dream a little longer.
Alright. You will leave the dream.
You're awake! Good. It's been a while since I've worked any magic that didn't involve sleight of hand. Anise is still soundly asleep. Could you not get through to her in the dream?
She wanted to enjoy the dream a little longer. She's part of Captain Wereshark's crew.
So, she stepped right into the story that's inspired her since she was little. That explains the ritual with that book. How better to keep her under the spell than to put her in a prison she wouldn't want to escape? Insidious.
It's not a prison. She made a deal with someone called Cress.
You're telling me this Cress didn't take her place? They traded for it? And not just her, but everyone here. What does Cress have to gain from these bargains? To infiltrate the town? What could a sleepy village offer someone who can create dreams?
What should we do with the dreamers?
The deal they made isn't so harmless as they might have believed. You've seen how frightened the villagers are. How many more need to vanish before Cress has whatever it is they want? They won't like it, but we should wake them and end this farce.
Alright.
Here we go. Pray that a rude awakening is the worst they have to suffer. It's ready. Wake Anise, and the curse will break.
Farewell, Captain.
No!
All right, so we're awake. Dreams shattered. A life of brooms and boredom ahead. Happy now?
I need to know about Cress.
Cress is different. They looked like Bugtail when they approached me, but his clothes were covered in ink and he seemed unwell. They confessed that they weren't who they appeared to be, but they needed my help.
You didn't find that suspicious?
Cress didn't look suspicious to me, just sad, vulnerable. They said they screwed up again, that they couldn't be who they were trying to be. Cress knew I didn't want to stay in Farmer's Nook, so they offered to take my place.
Do you know why Cress wanted to trade places?
I think they were running away too, from a life they didn't want to go back to. You know how many times I tried to do that? But I could never just leave my mom behind, alone. I thought we'd all be happy this way.
You think your mother would be happy with a substitute?
She would not.
Mother? I'm sorry.
If you wanted to be rid of me so bad, you could have sent a fake who did her chores.
So delicious, so moist, alluring. The sweet rose, the most delicious, moist, warm, fragrant sweet rolls to ever leave a baker's oven. Yes, what else would one dream about? Have you never known the ecstasy of sweet moon sugar cream melting upon your tongue? This one has not tasted true sugar since he left elsewhere. He has missed it so.
Couldn't you have gotten sweet rolls without Daedric packs?
So he could, if he were satisfied with iced rolls grown stale from weeks on the road. But when one offers the chance to have them at their freshest...
How could you do this? How could you wake me? Crest said I would live in that dream forever.
What was your dream about?
It was a damn sight better than this. I had a castle, servants, suitors hanging off my every word. I had everything I ever wanted. You don't know what it's like for us, growing up. We had nothing. We still have nothing.
And what about your brother?
Hesef? Hesef seems happy with his plow and his pigs. He's a grown man, and more capable than I am at fending for himself. He doesn't need me anymore. And Cress was supposed to keep him company. We barely speak anymore as it is.
Your brother thinks you're dead. He's grieving for you.
Dead? Oh, Hesef, I never wanted that. I suppose I need to talk to him, like we used to. He deserves that much.
He'd like that.
Where are we? Some kind of tomb? Where's my treasure? Last I remember, I was in my treasure room.
You are under a spell. We woke you up.
Wait, so this is real? The dream is gone? My treasure's gone? Why would you do that?
The deal you made with Cress was a mistake. Your brother thinks you're dead.
Why would he think I'm dead? That's not what Cress promised. He said he'd just be me. He even agreed to do my chores. Was that all a bunch of hogwash?
No, Cress did pretend to be you. They just got drunk and fell into a bonfire.
Heck of a way to go. Wait, is Cress dead then? Damn it. I guess there's no hope making another deal.
Oh, thank you for finding my girl. I'd never imagined she'd have gone to such lengths to get away from here. I should have listened sooner.
What are you doing out here?
I followed you. I was glad to see Annie's back in town. But I knew deep down that wasn't my girl, and watching her act a part made the worry in my gut so much worse. I had to see for myself.
Where did you leave the imposter?
Back at the Happy Crow. I told Braden he could put whatever she liked on my tab if it kept her occupied. If you wish to find the freeloader, that's where she'll be.
Thanks for the tip.
We will try not to judge them too harshly for their grouchiness. We just rip them from the most pleasant slumber they've ever experienced. We should be off at once to detain Cress. I'll be right behind you. It could be that the two spells were mingling. That's not something seen often. Or perhaps it's simply that this Cress person was also inspired by Anis's dream.
Why would they choose to become a poor farm girl?
Why indeed? It's easy to guess what motivated these people to pursue their wildest dreams. But the workings of this Cress's mind are inscrutable. What would you do if you were them? Would you leap at the chance to live a perfect fantasy?
No. I wouldn't abandon the real world. I mean, I lost my soul once.
That's the rub, isn't it? Dreams are selfish things. To chase them, you risk leaving things behind, maybe everything. We all have to decide what we're willing to sacrifice in pursuit. Not everyone possesses your sense of obligation.
And these people seem devastated by being woken from their dreams.
They have a look about them, one I've seen before. It's the look of a skooma addict, sick and desperate on the street, lost without their escape.
Will they recover?
With the help and support of those who love them, one can hope. Ultimately, it will be up to each of them to decide what's most important to them.
Right, let's confront Cress. And call it a night. Just finishing this quest up, we run on. Bum bum bum. Maple. Not interested in fighting you. To get back to town. I suspect there won't be a big battle. I suspect it would just be some sort of lowly Emmaus Mora scribe trying to escape.
Have you seen Anise? Have you seen Anise? She ran off. I knew I shouldn't have let Hesef. Mile asked me to keep the girl occupied, so I kept her mug full and listened to her go on about her pirate stories. I was getting famished, so I asked Hesef to watch her while I made a stew. That was the last I saw her. They were playing cards when she just bolted out of her chair like a snake bit her and ran out the door. He chased her, but Hesef's not much of a runner. Said Anise was headed east, out of town. Niall's going to have my hide for this.
It's alright, the real Anise is with her mother. They're on the way back.
Hold on, real Anise? Who was it we've been watching this whole time?
An imposter named Cress. Mel can explain. I need to catch up to them. Right, going east.
Hello to you too.
Pursue Cress above. More Alien ruins. Oh, are these the same ones?
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. You're the one I don't know. Why are you here? I didn't run away again, I promise.
I know you're not really Anise, Cress.
Excuse me? You don't even know me. I am Anise. I can prove it. Ask me anything.
We already woke Anise and everyone else.
I'm her twin sister. I can't be Anise anymore. I know. Maybe I could be someone else. What about you? Can I be you?
No, it's over.
Enough of this charade, Cress. Off with your false face.
What are...
You're a Daedra?
Wait! Don't hurt me. I didn't do anything. I just gave them what they wanted.
Why are you trading places with people in the town?
I just want to live. Like you. I'm so tired of watching. I don't want to go back. Don't make me go back.
Back where?
To the unbound library of the one who knows. To record what was observed. That is our purpose. To watch your lives and ink the details down. Day in, day out.
Always the same. They know it too, the people here. That's why I offered an escape.
Why do you keep making these deals?
I kept getting it wrong. Being a person, despite all I knew, I kept making mistakes. Bad, painful mistakes I couldn't undo. So I had to try again. And again. Life is hard, but that makes it interesting. Please, let me stay. Don't send me back.
I'll discuss it.
Yes, please. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I won't cause any more trouble.
All the places you could have chosen, why Farmer's Nook?
This is where the one who knows sent me. It is what I know. I thought I could live here and no one would treat me any differently. I could finally experience all the things I'd only observed. Friendship, love, family, need. Need was good.
Why did your master send you to this place?
To know, as they must. Your tiny pupil suggests that is insufficient. The one who knows seeks all knowledge. We observe so that all becomes known. We are the one's eyes, and we are multitudes.
Does that mean you're not alone out here?
Alone? I suppose I am. I had not considered that. I will no longer be a part of the one, but something separate. It's unsettling, but also exciting.
What will you do if you stay?
Well, I don't know what I'll do without a mortal form, but I'll think of something.
You can't just take on another form?
I need a mortal pack to do anything more than create an illusion. I traded dreams because they are the neighbor of knowledge and within my reach. I don't have much else to offer a mortal in exchange.
So it doesn't have to be dreams?
Correct. The terms are not important. Only the bargain matters. If I find someone willing to form a less troublesome pact, then maybe I could stay.
If you don't return, when someone come looking for
The
you?
one who knows watches most. The one seeks not to change, but to observe. If the one sees me here, they will know what was once unknown.
What happens if we send you
I
back?
would return to Apocrypha and resume the catalog of all things until I've exhausted my knowledge, and the one who knows casts me into the world to observe again. That would not be, in mortal terms, for a very long time.
So, this pitiable creature wants to escape its lot in life too. Even Daedra dared to dream. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't feel some sympathy for its plight.
You both went to great lengths to escape your lot in life?
I know that suffocating feeling far too well, and the desperation to escape it. I know what it's like to be blinded by the need for liberation. Cress and I both caused more pain than we ever intended.
You want to be lenient on them?
Misguided as Cress was, I don't believe they acted in malice. There aren't many stories of compassionate Daedra, but it seems at least some of them might be true. The question is, does this little Daedra's story have to end in tragedy?
You have an alternative?
It may fly in the face of common sense, but I think Cress might have the makings of a fine player. They're a bit unrefined, but taking on a new role seems to come naturally, and they'll never forget their lines. I could sponsor them to the house.
You alright?
I thought so, and my eye for talent is one of the best among the players. By the time Cress presents themselves before the Grand Maestro, I will have transformed them into a master thespian. I'll stake my reputation on it.
I have no doubt.
All's well that ends well, as they say. This certainly wasn't the direction I expected this story to take, but a good mystery always keeps you guessing. You were a grand co-star. If we ever adapt Investigate a Veil for the stage, I'll be sure to call.
Of course, my blooming inventory's full.
I'd always planned. All's well that... All right, Cress. I have a deal for
You do? Does this mean I can stay?
No, not in Farmer's Nook, anyway.
Oh. Does it mean I don't have to go back to the library?
Yes, and you will get to live a great many incredible lives.
I can? What do you need me to do?
Watch and learn. You're going to be my apprentice. Now, let's get you a mask. Now, if you're going to be a proper hopeful, I'm going to need you to take a form similar to one of my players. Can you do that?
Oh, yes. With your help, that will be easy. How is this?
You'll have no difficulty with brisk scene changes, certainly. Now, for a name that speaks to your soul, what about Dreamer?
Dreamer. I like that very much.
We'll grab that, and then I'm going to call it quits. Alright, Farmer's Nook done. Alrighty. Well, main story done. Side quests to do. Don't know if I'll stream all of those or not, or anymore, but I don't know. We'll see. See how I feel. Righto. We've overrun a bit, but got the quest done. So I should be back tomorrow. So, as ever, stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, get vaccinated, and I will see you.